Hello, and welcome back to the Pit and Paddock Race Show for the final week of November. And Formula One was in Qatar.
If you're British, it's Qatar.
Qatar, where Max Verstappen somehow had a fast car and won a dry race without a lucky safety car, like it was the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Chuck Leclerc got lucky after Lando went colorblind, and Pastry hung on for third place.
I'm going to say that Max won because Qatar is a motorcycle track and not actually a Formula One track, so not great for passing. It was just impossible to get past him.
Not great for passing, I guess. Jeez. Not a super interesting race. Kind of started with a bang, though, as Stroll took himself out, and Albon and Hulkenberg took out Pinto and Ocon all on the first lap of the race.
Yeah.
Was that the first turn? It was close.
I think it was turn one or two, and all those cars were crashed. Good job, Stroll.
limping around with a flat tire all the way back to the pit lane.
Yeah. Again, a motorcycle track, not great for F1 cars. So maybe think about going somewhere besides Qatar. They must pay a chunk of money to F1 to get that race there.
Oh, all the Middle East tracks do.
Yeah.
George Russell dropped from first to third in turn one, and he never quite made it back.
He was not welcomed back by Qatar.
Oh, sad. Then his crew flubbed the pit stop on lap 24, and he just kept falling back even more.
Yeah, Mercedes used to always be so perfect. Remember when they were winning races, they were just they won so many races you wanted them to not win, and you'd root for them to screw up a pit stop, and they were just the best. Not anymore.
They were all together on everything.
Yeah. The race was a bit of a snooze anyway, motorcycle track, until Mirrorgate. Albon's mirror fell off on the front straight, not on the racing line, but on the passing line, which you would probably also use. And then the race director decided, no safety car, we'll just put up a yellow and a double yellow, until Botox ran over it and turned it into shards, and two cars got punctured tires.
Interesting choice by the brand new race director.
Yeah.
Great job, guy.
Way to start off your career.
It wasn't. Well, let's get rid of this loser. Here's the new guy.
Yeah.
No safety car. And then Lando decided not to slow down and got a 10-second drive-through penalty.
Yeah. Well, going back, why did the race director decide to go? He went yellow, and then he went double yellow, and then but he wouldn't go safety car with the mirror on the track.
If it's in the racing or passing line, like with the front straight right there, it's like you can't send a guy out to grab that real quick.
Yeah. Yellow basically means no passing, no going faster than you did last time. Double yellow means you have to slow down. That's where Lando got caught. Still, not enough time for a marshal to run out there and grab the mirror.
I feel like you could have popped into a virtual safety car for like 30, 40 seconds and grabbed it and been fine.
Yeah.
Why not a virtual safety car?
Something, but he ended up making an easy decision and causing ramifications all the way down the field.
We always manage to make just a mild race somehow interesting with their interesting choices.
On a side note, Yuki Tsunoda said when they said there's a mirror on the track, he thought they said beaver, and then he thought, how does a beaver get in the Middle East? Is it global warming?
Where's his head at?
Yeah.
That's
that joke might not get us. That might get us kicked off YouTube. In the Manufacturers' Championship, Lando's cock-up sent the championship to the next and final race. So they could have wrapped it up. McLaren could have wrapped up the championship, but because Lando got the 10-second penalty, they couldn't wrap it up. It goes to the next race. So Ferrari's only 21 points behind. Do you think they can pull out a rabbit and beat McLaren?
Possible. I wonder if that penalty just came out, so maybe the manufacturer's championship could be decided in the last race, and we could all have something to talk about.
Certainly more exciting than the driver's championship.
Yeah. Now that one's wrapped up. I don't know. I don't really know who is... It's always been Mercedes or Red Bull at this track.
Yeah.
So Ferrari and McLaren really haven't had a great history of winning this race, so it just depends.
Yeah, and everybody else is out of it except McLaren and Ferrari, so I think Ferrari's best hope is McLaren has like a DNF somehow, or
they do something stupid.
Do something stupid again. Zach Brown will pull his hair out. That would be interesting. I want to see how angry Zach Brown is when they make a mistake and it costs them the drivers or the manufacturer's championship, which the difference between first and second place is $50 to $100 million. Like, it's really big.
It's not an insignificant amount.
No, it's a big deal. What about race observations? What did you notice on the Qatar Grand Prix?
I actually noticed that they put those new gravel strips in at the track limits areas, and they worked. There were no limits penalties. The cars that hit them slowed down a bit. It seemed to work just fine, and no issues. So more of that instead of track limits arguments.
That's the tack-on ones that look like sandpaper, right?
They made a little bit of a mess, but not too bad. I think they worked fairly well.
I noticed that the European commentators like to say Pentultimate a lot. It's the Pentultimate race of the season. It's the Pentultimate lap. It's the Pentultimate corner. It's the Pentultimate politician who wants to enact a tax to fight climate change in Europe.
I wonder if somebody has a word challenge in the booth before the race starts, like you have to say this word so many times.
Whoever says Pentultimate the most times gets a jar of Nutella.
Well, they'll say the final race now. How many times are they going to say that?
If it's not the Pentultimate race, is it the ultimate race?
The ultimate race. That sounds too exciting, I guess.
Yeah, sounds like a challenge. Or...
what was with that? What was with that Max penalty after qualifying, moving him one spot?
Wow.
For they said going too slow on the cool-down lap or something?
Yeah, he wasn't on a hot lap. Russell came up behind him. Russell was on a build lap, but not a fast lap. And they gave Max a grid spot penalty. He said that when the two of them got called to the stewards room, Russell really argued hard to give Max a penalty for it. So Max took Russell off his Christmas list. I believe his quote was that Russell could F off.
Man.
And he didn't get a penalty for that either.
Well, it wasn't on the radio.
Oh, yeah.
That's another... during the race, at least 10 times I heard anytime a driver would try to pass someone, you get a... Help, he cut me off. He cut me off there. Did you see that? Oh, look at that. He cut every single time now. It's the go-to move anytime someone's trying to pass you. Whining about drivers passing you so that you hope the stewards will jump in and assign a penalty or do something about it. I think they should penalize whoever whines about someone else doing something. 5 seconds for whining.
Tack on or drive-through?
Drive-through, first one. Just immediate. If you complain about another driver doing something, it's an immediate drive-through. And that'll cut that out real quick.
Okay.
I'm really tired of hearing about it.
I'm tired of hearing about the Max is such a great driver thing because, let's be honest, the Drivers' Championship is a miscongeniality, right? It pays no dollars. You get nothing more than a shiny trophy and you get to put a gold star in your helmet. And we all know that it's 95% the car, so come on. Enough.
That's pretty much true. I think you could put probably about 18 of the drivers in the World Championship in that car, maybe 16, and then they would win the championship.
The whole field is like 2 seconds apart on a qualifying lap and driving different cars. So, like, yeah, any of those drivers could get in there, and with some practice, they could drive pretty hard.
Except for Stroll.
Except Lance Stroll. He'd be off the pace.
Apparently Sergio Perez.
And Sergio Perez, he would also be off the pace.
My quote of the race is F off from Kevin Magnussen.
Kevin Magnussen. Who did he pass? And as he passed him, he's like, F off.
He's winding down his career.
He's like, I'm going to sports cars next year. Who cares? You can curse in sports cars and you don't get penalized. Well, Sergio Perez is finally out of Red Bull. This weekend he was out in sprint qualifying 1, P20 in the sprint. Did he make it to Q2 in main qualifying?
I think he got to Q3.
He did.
He started in the top 10.
Yeah, he started in the top 10. Then he spun out, screwed up his hydraulic system, made no points. Sources are saying that he's been given the choice of resigning, or you can become the second reserve driver / helmet polisher.
Horner said that Checo's old enough to know what the situation is. When asked why Perez wasn't booted earlier, Horner replied, "We thought he might get a pardon, but it seems to have gone to someone else."
You got to be family to get a pardon.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, they might as well bring in a rookie for the last race. I mean, they're not going to improve in the points. At this point, you might as well, whoever it is you're replacing them with, give them a shot.
Get someone started already.
Yeah. I mean, they're doing it at other places.
They are. Speaking of which, F2 driver, Bortoleto? Is it Bortoleto?
Bortoleto.
Bortoleto?
Portoleto.
Portolet?
We call him Bortoloo.
He's going to be stealing the second Sauber seat from Botox. Isn't that how it's supposed to work? The old drivers retire and the new drivers come in?
Yeah, it's the circle of life. We have a picture of Botox graciously giving his seat to the younger Bortoleto. If you're watching on video. If you're not, I'll describe it for you. It's that scene from The Lion King where Scar's holding Mufasa over the cliff and then he lets go. Yeah. That's the shot.
I heard that Botox turned down an Indy drive to take the Mercedes reserve seat from Schumacher.
Yeah. Well, it's not like Schumacher was ever going to get pulled up to actually race.
No, probably not.
Yeah. Schumacher's the current reserve driver for Mercedes, but he left to pursue other opportunities, which is F1 speak for, it took me a long time to realize I'm never going to start another Grand Prix. I might as well go race sports cars. It was a terrible race for Hamilton. Bad quali, 10th to his teammates' second in qualifying. 2 race penalties, one for jumping the start. The other one, what did he do on the second one? Speeding.
Yeah.
Pit lane speeding. So when he came in to serve the penalty, he wanted to just park the car. And I'm like, is he just done for the season?
The team was like, nope, we're racing. Get back out there.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, that's not a good look.
You're getting paid like $2 million a race. Come on.
Come on, man. I wonder if they're just not giving him the same level of equipment as George anymore, or he's just doesn't care.
Well, they're not moving up in the points either at this point. They got nothing to lose.
That's true.
Nope, get out there and race.
Probably working on next season's stuff.
Yeah, you're not in red yet.
Next race, I believe for Alpine, Esteban Ocon is going to be kicked out of his seat for Doohan. Doohan.
Is that an Irish elf?
I don't know. Is that he plays the engineer in Star Trek? Is that the same Doohan?
I was thinking it was that little elf in Harry Potter that doesn't own clothes or something like
Dobby.
that. Oh yeah,
That
it's
one's
close.
Dobby.
Well, my question is this: is Ocon out because he's been sabotaging Alpine in the points, right? He's had no points since the Netherlands, not including the fluke in Brazil where it rained and he got lucky with the safety car. Ocon's going to Haas next year, and Alpine and Haas are locked in a battle for sixth, which I understand is worth $30 to $50 million.
Ooh.
So, and he hasn't scored points. Maybe they're looking at him going, little too convenient you not scoring points for us and letting your next year's team beat us. So yeah, maybe they booted him for that.
Haas added a little contract bonus for not scoring points for Alpine.
You get an extra $1 million for every point you don't score.
Fair enough.
Well, Sauber got their first points of the season, and driver Zhou from China got his first F1 points ever, and probably likely ever. Sauber celebrated by reminding both of their drivers that they're fired next year.
Heck of a drive, Zhou. You need to find work next season.
Oh, yeah, by the way. You can go celebrate on your own. I hear Tiananmen Square is popular.
Yeah, enjoy. I heard that Red Bull was pursuing Colapinto, the Williams fill-in driver, for next season, until his horribly expensive crashes at Brazil and Las Vegas.
Oh, two big ones.
That kind of pushed him out of the running for that.
Yeah. How does he compare to Sargent? I'd like to see the dollar value comparison for...
Man, it's got to be close after that.
Yeah, the team that can least afford to have to buy new parts. Well, I mean, he literally ran a not a backup car, but like a former spec car.
Did they pull a show car out of somewhere? And
I think they did. Get that thing out of Kentucky Fried Chicken over here and let's... Or whatever they have in England.
He had like a 3 or 4 race stretch where he was very surprising and very well done, but then he just crashed.
What would be the KFC in England? Like a pizza, fish, and chips kind of place, maybe?
I think they have KFC there.
Do they have KFC?
Yeah.
But like, what's like be like the homegrown England version of KFC? It's got to be like a fish and chips place, or I hear them say pie a lot. Like they do a lot of pies. I think they're talking about like meat pies or something.
Yeah, I don't know what their homegrown chain type fast food equivalent restaurant would be.
Do we have any English restaurants that have made it to the U.S.? If you don't count Pete's Fish and Chips, because that was just a guy that happened to be there during World War II and thought it was a good idea and brought it over here. Yeah, I'm trying to think of any English, even that English grocery store that tried to make it Tesco or something like that.
But they went out of business here.
Yeah, they didn't work either. Yeah, I don't know if England's really exported food. Oh wait, they kind of have a history, don't they?
They tried. Then they started importing food because they found out it was better.
Hey, I went to England in like 2005. I didn't think I like the food. I mean, it's like go work in the fields kind of food. But, you know, lots of gravy.
Sausage, some gravy, potatoes.
Yeah, I like the shepherd's... pasties. I did like some Cornish pasties. Those are good.
The brown sauce, not a fan. What's that, like a HP sauce?
Oh, that sauce?
Not
yeah.
great.
I like just the gravy, though. You get like
good.
a Cornish pasty and put gravy all over it. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Where were we? Cadillac. Cadillac's F1 team. In an interview, Mario Andretti insisted that taking the Andrettis out of the package was not the key factor in getting it approved. There were lots and lots of factors. The FIA claims it was only a major factor.
That's what I figured. I saw that Netflix put out a Senna TV show this past week. I haven't seen it yet. Did you happen to watch it?
I'm a little dubious. Netflix hasn't put out a lot of winners lately.
No. They're also doing a movie coming out next year. Or not Netflix, but there's a Senna movie.
Is there like an anniversary, or is it just because F1's popular all of a sudden?
There it is right there.
Oh.
I'll probably end up watching the show, kind of check it out, see how it is.
Can't believe it made it out of development.
I don't know. I did notice that they took the Marlboro off of all the advertisements, so it's just a big white patch. Like, you got to be accurate. Put the Marlboro back on there. That was a sponsor.
How can they? Why would they have to take? Does Europe make them do that?
I probably. I'm like, that was the sponsor then. Put it on there. I don't like inaccurate historical.
That's like having a World War II air battle and not having the Nazi symbol on the German planes.
Yeah.
Like, we all know they had the Nazi
You play
symbol.
the World War II video game and they take all the Nazi logos out. You're like, quit pretending that didn't exist. Just do it like it's supposed to be.
Don't be a wussy. You know, gamers don't appreciate that.
Coming up this weekend, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. We're going to be racing on Sunday morning at 6 a.m. our time.
I like that time. Because
That's a
then
good
I can
time.
just get up and watch it whenever I want.
Yeah.
Well, that's the last race of the year and our last podcast of the year, too.
Yep.
We'll take a break for the winter, just like Formula One,
Yes.
until NASCAR comes back.
We might pop on for another episode or two.
Special event. Can we do that? You know how like in the 70s there would be like the word special and it would rotate around and like it was coming out of a tunnel?
Should it be multicolored?
Yeah.
Like a warp effect or something?
Yeah. Bad 80s or 70s graphics.
Was that like 70s breaking news music or something?
Oh yeah, where it kind of sounds like, can there be typing in the background?
Yeah. Or what is that sound? I don't even remember what it's called anymore.
I don't know. It's kind of like a typewriter, but not really.
Moving on to NASCAR, we've got more courtroom drama between two wealthy groups arguing over how much wealthier they think they should be, and then we have the clash on February 2nd.
Sounds like another Miss Congeniality contest.
Yep.
Like there's no points, right?
No.
Is there money? They
Yes,
give you money?
there is money. I
Okay.
don't know how much.
Is it less than you have to pay to enter the race?
I don't think they have to pay to enter the race.
Okay. Because they're NASCAR.
Yeah. And that's it for NASCAR.
Yeah.
Not much going on right now.
You know, backing up to the courtroom drama, I'm sure Michael Jordan doesn't have enough money. And he really does need more.
Probably. He probably has just almost as much as NASCAR does.
I know.
That's probably why they decided to fight it.
It's the principle of the thing. Come on.
Yeah.
Not the extra $20 million that I will get. Anything in IndyCar?
Well, IndyCar, we have mentioned earlier, Botox did turn down an Indy ride for next season from a mystery team, but he is interested in the Indy 500.
Oh, yeah. Take the guy who's never turned a lap in anger on an oval and go race the Indy 500.
I feel like if he got a bit of testing in and the couple weeks in May, he could do all right.
Yeah. How about the Indy Grand Prix that they do before the Indy 500? He could do that one.
Yeah, might as well get some seat time in.
I wonder who the mystery team is that supposedly offered him a full-time ride. Guy who's never driven in an oval.
I wonder, do they bring him? Is he bringing money? Maybe a bit. I don't know.
Probably just the popularity from F1. Indy's hoping to...
Yeah, they might get some sponsorship associated with that.
Possible?
Like, I'm thinking, what team is it? Meyer Shank Racing?
It's got to be one of the little teams, or unless Andretti offered him a ride trying to cozy up to F1. I don't know. Botox does do all those Australia commercials, so maybe that's the sponsor he has.
He does have a pretty cool mullet, too. I hope he would keep that if he does Indy.
I did like the car, what was that? Remember there's a car thing where you can just straight up let somebody borrow your car?
Oh,
It might be Uber. Is it Uber?
That Australian, it's
Yeah.
like Turo or something, or some sort of commercial in Australia.
Yeah. He was showing off his car with the mullet nullification? I don't know.
No, that was pretty funny.
Nullification. Retribution. Sargent reportedly tested with Meyershank. Sources are telling me from, sources from the inside.
Inside sources.
Sources that will not be named.
I saw a picture on Twitter.
Yeah. And I'm sure it wasn't AI.
No.
Why would Meyershank want to bring in Sargent unless he's got a big sponsor, which I'm pretty sure he doesn't?
Maybe they hate their cars. They just want to see if they can clear out a lot.
We're going to see how many cars he can wreck. We're going to beat his F1 record. Well, next up for IndyCar, they're going to have a strategy session with the Democratic National Party on how to make America like them again.
Do the exact opposite of what they always do?
Yeah. In other news, we may come back and do a show during the winter break for Dakar because there's only 31 days left till Dakar, January 3rd. Does NBC have it again this year?
Yes, and I don't know where that's going to be on at, but we'll find it when it shows up.
Yeah, we'll put something out. You can't miss Dakar. It's only a half hour each night, but just the fact that you go out and race for 14 days with one break day, that's pretty good. I still would like to see the old point A to point B race where, you don't get to put your car in a trailer and move it and then race some more, but the Saudi Arabia location's not bad.
Yeah, that was more fun, but it still looks nice.
Yeah. Saudi's probably the best that they've had since they left the actual Paris to Dakar location. Maybe they'll go back one day.
Maybe one day.
But I think the Saudis pay them a chunk of money to put on that show.
As they do.
I don't think Dakar's going to...
No, they're not going to take no money over a chunk of money.
Yeah, and I doubt that Paris is going to pony up any money either because they can barely keep their government together.
Oh.
Somebody's going to call a vote of no confidence in their prime minister. They have a president, right?
Yeah.
He's just, he has more power than, a parliamentary prime minister, a parliamentary president, but not as much power as a republic president. It's weird. The French are kind of weird. That's it for this week.
That's all we got.
We'll be back for our last show of the year.